What a conference this has been. We at the Center for Business History are so happy for having you all here, participants and presenters, all of you. I think that during these 2 days, we have all got new insights and new pieces of knowledge. There were extraordinary reflections of the issues ahead of us as business archivists, but also relief in the competence that is so obvious when you gather colleagues like this. Together, we share experiences and creative solutions to almost all kinds of challenges we meet. But there are some new ones which we have to formulate and put on the table, like we have done this conference. And to all this, you have experienced 2 days of the best examples of Swedish April weather, I should say. I would also like to thank some of our sponsors, especially the Swedish Foundation for Humanities and Social Sciences. Thanks to them, we can make this documentation Anders told us about. And the City of Stockholm, of course. And then Volvo, Brynsel, Marabou, and of course Coca-Cola. Thank you all. And finally, a heart full of thanks from me to the conference team from the Center for Business History, led by Anders Sjöman, Jenny Bergman, and Anders Holtz, and all of our wonderful colleagues right there out on the floor. Thank you and see you soon. Why not in Bombay in December?
Thank you, Alexander. Oh, I just can't believe that we are actually concluding this lovely conference. Over these 2 days, it was really wonderful listening to all the speakers and who explored new trends, new ideas, and innovative ways of how to cope with the expectations of the stakeholders, researchers, and also of the digital world. And it was really amazing experience for me, learning experience for me. And these case studies also kept really, really inspired me. And I must applaud the efforts of Alexander, Anders, and the entire Center for Business History at Stockholm for arranging this wonderful and amazing conference. And you have really set the bar high for me. So we will definitely work together to achieve that. So we all know that brands are not built overnight. There is a lot of history, there is a lot of heritage, legacy that actually contributes, the core values, the philosophy of the brand that really makes what the brand is. And I think that's what we are here for, and we actually discussed that over these 2 days. And therefore, but the challenge actually still remains that how to really stay relevant in the corporate setting every day. That's why we keep devising new ways of, inspiring and motivating our own stakeholders that what's the position that history can take in corporate setting. So that's why we will also continue with the same theme, that what actually basically the role that archives can play in the future of business rather than the future role of the archives. I would like to put it as how we can actually decide the future of the business as an archivist in the company. So that's basically the theme that you can see on the screen is Back to the Future, which is of course inspired by a sci-fi movie, but that's what basically we would be discussing at Bombay. And so these are basically the sub-themes that we will be discussing. So basically how corporate legacy can be used as a tool of leadership, as an educational tool, and how it can be really relevant to the businesses. We are also trying to understand that how basically the mergers and acquisitions, and whenever any global brand is entering any local market, how they are actually trying to build the identities in the new markets that they are exploring. And also the corporate oral histories is something, a new theme that we want to really deal with, because we haven't really done that so far, that what oral history what role can oral history play. So these are basically the theme, and what you can see actually on the screen is our industrial township, where we will be having the conference in Mumbai. And these will be actually some of the speakers who have actually confirmed. So there is a range of, so all across the world we are getting the speakers. So, but these are not the only speakers. We are still developing our program. And by the first week of May, we are planning to put it up online so that you can actually go through it and then can plan your trip to Mumbai. And this is actually the building where we will be hosting our conference on 5th and 6th December. And there is a Godrej auditorium on our campus, and the Vikhroli is basically the northern suburb of Mumbai. It's actually beyond city limits, but it's still Mumbai city, as we can see. And this is our auditorium, so we have good facilities, and these are some of the breakout areas that you can enjoy whenever you are not in the conference. And these are some of the areas that we are developing. These are actually the old factories that we have now converted into happening pubs, and the pub will be open before the conference starts. So that's that's one inviting thing that I see here. And of course, the city of Mumbai itself is very fascinating. It has a great architectural history. So you have 8th century temple complex, you have 15th century mosque, you have 18th century Gothic buildings of the colonial period. We are the second largest city to have the Art Deco buildings after Miami, I think. And so this is the 1930s architecture, and of course the modern architecture of 60s and 70s, and of course postmodern, which I really don't like, but still. But that's the city of Mumbai for you, and it's a December. It's a winter for us. It might be a summer kind of a weather for you, because it will be 18 to 20 degrees Celsius there in the winter, but it would be comfortable. And of course, it's a December, so you can plan your vacations in the exotic country like India. So north, south, east, west, anywhere you want to go. So you can plan your holidays in India. So that's, I invite you all, I take this opportunity to invite you all to come to Mumbai. And I assure you that it would be really a wonderful conference, and we can actually make it wonderful together. So see you in Mumbai in December. Thank you.